Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA. And yes, we are still enjoying this hangover from the last victory of Real Madrid against FC Barcelona. As you can imagine today, it's like a dream you don't want to wake up from. It's like, okay, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still tasting it. So I don't want to wake up. I just want to keep enjoying this beautiful moment because regardless, to me, of course, Real Madrid was in a much better shape than FC Barcelona for playing this game. That is pretty true. But also, it's like, okay, in El Clásico, every single time Real Madrid and FC Barcelona have to play against each other, every single thing can happen, right? It's anybody's game. It's like, regardless FC Barcelona and the super tough moments they are going through and stuff like that, they also had chances to win. They were not the favorite ones, but in a certain way, it's like, okay, be careful, guys, because these players from this team, FC Barcelona, can still win, and actually they have big chances to score and win and take the 3 points and get away with them. So, that's why this victory is still very important for us. It's still very important for Real Madrid because it is not only that you are still in the fight for La Liga, but also you have gotten a very psychological or optimistic victory. You know what I'm saying? Every time you win FC Barcelona, who is the maximum, the most difficult rival that you have for La Liga and stuff like that, it's like, okay, this is a completely different story. And yeah, it is only 3 points like any other game. But everybody knows that it's a little bit different because, like I said, it's a very psychological victory. So today, I will be talking about, I'm going to give you a quick 2 updates in regards to 2 different possible signings for next year. And then I will be talking about, for a while, Vinicius Jr. because he became last night the new idol, the new icon, and the new messiah, I would say, of Los Madridistas, just because all the things he did yesterday, because it was not only that he was arguably one of the most important players in the game, but also the way FC Barcelona fans received him, and of course the way he was whistled and insulted and all the stuff. My opinion is last night Vinicius Jr. became the kind of icon, or the kind of idol that we haven't had since the days of Cristiano Ronaldo in Real Madrid, right? And I will explain you why. So let me give you a quick couple updates on the signings of for Real Madrid next year. Arguably signings because nobody knows what can happen, but I'm gonna be talking about the first news, the first update regarding to Antonio Rüdiger. And this is pretty bad news because according to Gianluca Di Marzio, Antonio Rüdiger, it is in fact negotiating his future not with Chelsea, with who apparently the conversations and negotiations are completely stuck. There's no more talk or negotiations going on right now, but they say, Gianluca Di Marzio claims Antonio Rüdiger is already negotiating his future with 5 big teams in Europe, and none of them is Real Madrid. So according to his information, this journalist claims he might be negotiating and talking to teams like PSG, Juventus de Turin, and others, right? But not, he hasn't included to Real Madrid. So that's why I think, I still believe Antonio Rüdiger might sign for Real Madrid. Real Madrid is one of the best choice he can take, is one of the best teams he can join to for the next season, because if you think about it, Real Madrid, it is the only team in Europe who can really offer a very decent and good salary to this player. I would say maybe, 12 million a year or something like that, maybe very similar or close to the David Alaba's salary. So I don't think that there are so many teams out there willing to put that kind of money in the pocket of Antonio Rüdiger. So let's see what happens. But to me, I mean, of course, every time a big player like Antonio Rüdiger is on the market, every single team in Europe will be scanning and monitoring the situation, because of course, when he is also becoming, when he is coming into the market for free, so he might be in the market for free and you don't have to pay any single transfer fee or something like that, it is even better, because number one, is a very good player, number two, is for free. So that is, the best scenario possible, right? So at the end of the day, you will have a bunch of teams out there, chasing him, asking him, making calls and stuff like that to sign the player for the next year. Although he's 28 years old and he's not a baby, of course, it is a very experienced player with a lot of expertise that he can put on the field for whoever it is, Juventus, PSG, Bayern de Munich, who is the other one? I think Manchester United, they're saying, I don't know, whoever it is, or even Real Madrid, he can display all this expertise on the field. And of course, for every single team chasing him, that'd be great, because like I said, it's a player that might arrive for free. To me, Real Madrid still have chances to sign this player, and of course, the Real Madrid project for the long run, it is one of the most attractive projects that we will see in the near future in Europe, because all these Premier League teams and stuff, they are pretty much done. They have been reinforcing and spending a lot of money on the market these last 2 seasons, regardless COVID-19, regardless financial crisis and stuff like that. If you think about it, Chelsea has signed in a lot of players like Havertz, Timo Werner, Ziyech, and all the stuff. Manchester United with Jadon Sancho, Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafa Varane, and also Manchester City with Grealish. Maybe Manchester City is the team that has reinforced less the team with brand new players and stuff, but still have spent some money, very good money, on the market. And then if we talk about Paris Saint-Germain and others, it's the same story. So Real Madrid is the only one that allegedly might be more interested in throwing money on the table for Antonio Rüdiger. So that's why I think that Antonio Rüdiger is still valuable and interesting for Real Madrid for the next season. But let's see what happens. And the second update that I have for you all, guys, is regarding to Erling Haaland from as well Gianluca Di Marzio, because Gianluca Di Marzio was talking about Erling Haaland as well. And although the news regarding to Antonio Rüdiger were not the best news, it is completely the opposite when it comes to Erling Haaland, just because he said for Real Madrid 75 million for Erling Haaland is just nothing, it's just pennies. And of course, Florentino Perez can afford by far the signing of Erling Haaland for the next year. And I'm going to tell you something that is maybe not very popular, very, something that you want to hear, but let me tell you what, it is the same thing. It happens to be the same than the news about Antonio Rüdiger. Although I think that Real Madrid is maybe arguably the front runners when it comes to the signing of Erling Haaland, the problem is it is, right the opposite, right the other way. A lot of more teams in Europe will be in the race for Erling Haaland. You know what I'm saying? 75 million euros, it is nothing for Real Madrid, but it's also nothing for teams like Manchester City or even PSG or even Bayern de Munich, right? So that's why I think the race for Erling Haaland will be so packed, and of course there will be plenty of teams in Europe willing to throw a lot of money on the table for the signing of Erling Haaland. So I appreciate this very positive and optimistic news when it comes to the signing of Erling Haaland for Real Madrid. But let me tell you, we have to be cautious a little bit. We have to be careful because we don't really know what is going to happen. And let me tell you what, the latest news I heard from Erling Haaland regarding to his future, it was a rumor about the possibility for the player to sign for Manchester City, just because he's considering a much better project, the Premier League, in the future than the Spanish League or even Real Madrid. So be careful at this point, because although I think that Erling Haaland has a lot of chances to play in Real Madrid, I prefer to say, okay, I think that will happen, but we have to keep in mind this is not like Kylian Mbappe's signings. It's a completely different story. Kylian Mbappe is done for Real Madrid, right? The deal for Kylian Mbappe is done And of course, Kylian Mbappe will play for Real Madrid. But when it comes to Erling Haaland, it's a little bit different, so we must be careful with this stuff because you never know what is going to happen in the near future. Every single thing can change, and of course, you still have Mino Raiola trying to, throw a lot of rocks on the way because he wants a big commission, he wants a bigger bigger than usual check for an agent to get from the deal and stuff like that. So there are a lot of things that can happen to block the signing of Erling Haaland for Real Madrid. So you never know. I prefer to be very cautious at this point, and let's see what happens. And now let me, in the 4 minutes left that I have in this video, let me talk about Vinicius Jr., his figure, his new role in Real Madrid, and how he has become an idol, an icon, and the new Real Madrid messiah, or whatever you want to call it. Vinicius Jr. last night against FC Barcelona, he played amazingly good, and there's more. Because Vinicius Jr., although he didn't score and he didn't assist and stuff like that, in the first 45 minutes, he did whatever he wanted to do with the FC Barcelona defenders, players, and specifically to Mingueza. Mingueza couldn't even stop him. It was completely impossible for him to stop Vinicius Jr., and he didn't even look at him closer. Every time he tried to challenge or tackle Vinicius Jr. was already gone. You know what I'm saying? He was dribbling him, he was looking ahead, he was thinking ahead, he was anticipating every single play to Mingueza and other Barcelona defenders, and that's why all the papers, newspapers, media outlets and stuff, journalists in the world are praising Vinicius Jr. just because of that. He became the real leader of Real Madrid last night, and he finally got the validation he didn't get in the last months, in the last years in Real Madrid. The game yesterday was the kind of game he was waiting for to validate his career in Real Madrid, and he got it. To me, he got it. Yesterday, Vinicius Jr. consolidating himself like the new icon, the new role, the new idol for the Real Madrid fans. And today, there's no way for us to imagine another different attack to Real Madrid without Vinicius Jr. on the field. You know what I'm saying? Last season, it was a completely different story. For all Real Madrid fans, if you asked to them back in the day, last season it was like, yeah, Vinicius Jr. might be in the lineup, might be in the starting 11 sometimes, but not every single day, right? Today, nowadays, it's a completely different story. The situation, the story has been flipped over completely by Vinicius Jr. And today, Vinicius is not the rising star he used to be. It is actually the Real Madrid star we were looking for, and we've been looking for over the last 4 years since the Cristiano Ronaldo's departure. And it is not only that. Also, all the Barcelona fans and people in the stadium were whistling him, were making fun of him, were insulting him. So that's exactly what happens to the most important players of Real Madrid. For example, when Cristiano Ronaldo was playing for Real Madrid, he was the most whistled, the most booed, the most insulted player in Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? So that means, to me, it's a very good news. Because regardless how bad it is to insult a person or make fun of him or whatever it is, that means this player is dangerous enough for the other rival, supporters, fans and stuff to try to destabilize his mind and try to get him distracted or whatever it is, because they know and they are very aware that this player is very, very dangerous for them, and he's succeeding and he's doing very good job, because the more whistles you hear against you, the better, because that means that they fear, they are panicking about you. So to me, Vinicius Jr., yesterday he became exactly the player, the magnificent player, the big name we've been looking for over the last 4 years. And today, nobody can imagine a Real Madrid without Vinicius Jr. And that is the good news for all Los Madridistas, because for the first time since the Cristiano Ronaldo's departure, we can say, hey, and point out our finger, hey, that player is our new leader, figure, or messiah, or whatever you want to call it, right? But Vinicius Jr. is not like any other average player in Real Madrid, not anymore. It's a completely different story, and this player really can achieve whatever he wants to achieve in Real Madrid. So let's see what happens. And of course, it's now your turn, guys. Just let me know your comments in the section below, and of course, subscribe to this channel, Real Madrid Hub.